What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm Warren Thompson, and Secret Invasion has come and gone. We got the finale for it this week, and interestingly enough, it was rated the worst finale on Rotten Tomatoes out of any Marvel Studios Disney Plus show, which does kind of come as a shocker, but go ahead and let us know your thoughts about the finale and the series as a whole in the comments down below. Now, whether you like the series or not, there were a lot of really important things that happened, including a big X-Men Easter egg. It looks like Marvel Studios is paving the way for the X-Men/mutants to become a major part of the MCU, possibly beginning before the multiverse saga ends. Now, we do know that most likely the story for the X-Men and the mutants is really going to begin in Phase 7. This is when Marvel Studios will really take a deep dive into the story of individual mutants and then the X-Men team as a whole. But that doesn't mean that the story and the foundation for the X-Men and the mutants isn't going to begin before then. In fact, this X-Men Easter egg that was discovered in the Secret Invasion show seems to be pretty significant, and it kind of points to the fact that Fury might actually lead a new X-Men team, or at least be associated with them in some way, shape, or form, because obviously we want Professor Xavier to be the leader of the X-Men team. But since Secret Invasion kind of deemed aliens or anybody born off-world to be the enemies at the end of Secret Invasion, and since basically the whole entire world now knows that aliens attacked the President of the United States, this does set up the premise for the Mutant Storyline of where the humans fear the mutants and do not want to coexist with them. This would have Charles Xavier fighting for mutant rights alongside of human rights, and this would have Magneto not caring about the humans at all and thinking mutants are superior and wanting to essentially take out the humans. Both views could involve Nick Fury. Nick Fury could be an advocate for the mutants because he's worked with a lot of superhumans before, and he could also be dealing with the threat of Magneto, of course, because that's what he does. He deals with earthly and universal threats. And it seems like the old Nick Fury is back now, and he's made up with his wife, and that's actually where the Easter egg comes from. His wife. In episode 4, actually, we can see that Secret Invasion gave us a little nod to the X-Men. In episode 4, in the home of Nick Fury and Priscilla Fury, or Vara's home, in the background we can see a framed picture. However, this isn't a framed picture per se, but it's a framed book cover, front and back, of a book that Priscilla wrote. And it's very, very clever how Marvel did this, and it's very clever that Marvel didn't even mention this. It's simply just in the background. It was never addressed. But if you take a close look, on the back of the book cover on the left side, we can see what looks to be a blue X, and there is even a circle kind of going around it as well. This looks like the classic X-Men logo, the blue X with a blue ring around it and the yellow in between. It even does look like on the back of the book cover that it does have a little ring going around it as well. Now here's the real kicker. Here's what the book is about. We can see on the right side that the title of this book is Decoding the Superhuman Gene. This is a direct reference to the mutant gene, the gene that gives people superpowers. The X gene, the mutant gene that gives Wolverine the ability to heal, Professor X the ability to read minds and use telekinesis, Magneto the ability to control metal. We know how this works. That is what Priscilla has been studying. She published a book on it, Decoding the Superhuman Gene. And what's really interesting is that the next Nick Fury movie is going to be The Marvels, in which Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, is going to be a huge part of that movie, obviously, but she's a mutant. Marvel Studios and now Marvel Comics have retconned Kamala Khan to be a mutant in the comics, and Marvel Studios in the MCU are saying that she is a mutant as well. She has that mutant superhuman gene. This is huge, and the biggest part is the direct connection of Nick Fury to the mutants now. His wife is seemingly doing some leading research on the mutant gene, and it looks like now him and his wife are closer than ever, and she even says that she has to come back to Earth to start doing more research. This could be the research that she was talking about, the research on the superhuman gene. She could be the start, or at least part of the start, to the storyline of the mutants coming into the MCU. And if we think about it, it really does make sense for Fury to be involved. If Fury is back to his normal self, and it really does seem like he is, then Fury is going to be keeping track of enhanced individuals. This is what he did before. This is how he got in contact with Iron Man, and this is how he essentially assembled the Avengers, keeping his eye out on enhanced individuals. And by now, he's worked with enough enhanced individuals to know that some are going to be good and some are going to be bad, and it's his job to really attend to both. Make sure the good guys are fighting alongside him and helping him defend Earth, and making sure on the other end that the bad guys don't wipe out Earth. And I wouldn't be surprised if Professor Xavier actually meets the wife of Nick Fury due to all of her research and the books that she is literally publishing on the superhuman gene. That could be the big connection right there between Nick Fury and Professor Charles Xavier, Nick Fury's wife. She is clearly in the field in which Professor Xavier is going to be in the field as well. And that's essentially what Professor Xavier builds his life on. He entered Bard College in New York at age 16, and he got his bachelor's degree in biology within 2 years that he was there. He then went to Oxford University in England, and he earned his degree in genetics and biophysics. So he's a genetics expert and scholar. And that is essentially what it seems like Nick Fury's wife is doing. She is studying genetics. She has studied the superhuman gene, and that seems like it would get the attention of Charles Xavier. A scholar out there discovering and doing work with the superhuman gene. That is literally what he studies. That is right up his alley. And also, of course, we know that he's a mutant himself. Now, as far as how the story is actually going to pan out, we do know that before the multiverse saga ends, we're not going to see too many new mutants. Not the actual New Mutant team, but new mutant / X-Men entering the MCU. We'll see a few, and we'll see some hints and Easter eggs like this, but we know that mostly it's going to be focused on the original X-Men, like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine returning in Deadpool 3. Plus, not to mention a lot of the other X-Men that are going to be returning in Deadpool 3 as well. Charles Xavier, Magneto, Jean Grey is supposed to return, Cyclops is supposed to return. There's been talks about the original Fantastic Four showing up as well, in which, yes, this is the multiverse saga. It is focused on the variants, especially Deadpool 3, it seems like. But from what we've been told, they're not just going to show up in Deadpool 3. They will again return in Avengers Secret Wars, which makes sense. We're going to have universes colliding into each other. We're going to have incursions, and we're going to see variants interacting with each other, which is really what we're all waiting for. But it does sound like the original X-Men will occupy the multiverse saga, and then when we jump into the new saga in Phase 7, it'll focus on our new X-Men and, of course, the Fantastic Four. But this is a huge Easter egg, and it could tell us that Nick Fury is going to be involved with the mutants as well, just like he was with the Avengers. But go ahead and let us know what you think about this Easter egg in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to stay up to date on the MCU. And if you subscribe and leave a comment, you're entered in our giveaway for a chance to win an Xbox Series X, a PS5, some Marvel Legends items, or some DC items. The winner gets to pick one item, and we pick a winner at the end of each month. You can also find us on Patreon. You can check out our website and find us on Discord as well. And of course, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.